What's up, everybody? Welcome to another year ranking video where I rank every movie I've seen in a certain year. I've done 2023 and 2022, and as the pattern keeps going, me going backwards with years, I am ranking every movie that I watched in the year 2021. Yeah. All right. So it's been a little bit. It's been a little while since my last one, since the 2022 video went up. I'm sorry for that because originally my plan was I was going to release one every other week. I just been lazy, I guess, but I'm finally doing another one of these. So yeah. Here's 2021. Okay. So of course, keep in mind personal opinions. I know there's going to be some people that won't like my placement of Dune. But it's on here, okay? It's on here. I have seen Dune, so yeah. I haven't seen the Best Picture winner Coda or Power of the Dog, or I forgot what all came out that year. But anyways, personal opinions. If your favorite is my least favorite, which I doubt it, but if so, sorry. If my favorite is your least favorite, then too bad. This is my personal opinions, and I've only seen 14 this year, so of 2021. So yeah. All right, so all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? All right, so coming in at number 14, I can't see anyone saying this is their favorite of that year. In fact, there's been a lot of people that say that this is one of the worst of the year, and I agree. My number 14, my least favorite movie of 2021 is Space Jam: A New Legacy. Yeah, the sequel to the 1996 cult classic Space Jam, which wasn't a great movie to begin with, but it's a guilty pleasure. I enjoy it. I grew up with it. I enjoyed it. This one, however, is not good. It's not good. It's very cringy. LeBron James was terrible in this movie. This might be a hot take, but I did think he was slightly better than Michael Jordan in the first movie. That's like my biggest complaint with the first movie is that Michael Jordan was terrible. I mean, LeBron James wasn't any better though. I mean, he's maybe slightly, like I said, but yeah. But yeah, he was still really bad. The Looney Tunes weren't funny in this movie. I don't know. It's just not a good movie. Don Cheadle I thought was pretty cringy. There's a cringy scene involving Porky Pig rapping, which, my God, that was so bad. But yeah, this movie sucked. This did. I did review it, and I think I was a tiny bit positive on it, but I still gave it a, not great rating though. But thinking back on it, it was terrible. It was a bad movie for sure. And yeah, that's my least favorite of 2021's Space Jam: A New Legacy at number 14. Okay, coming in at number 13. Now, this one I don't think is a bad movie. I just personally didn't really care for it. I just didn't really like it. And it's a shame too because this was actually my most anticipated film of that year, but when I watched it, I was disappointed. That is Wes Anderson's The French Dispatch at number 13. Yeah, it's my least favorite Wes Anderson film. I don't think it's bad. It's just not for me. Just plain simple. It's just not for me. I've only seen it once, but still, like, I'll watch it again one of these days. I wanted to watch it again for my updated Wes Anderson ranking, but I couldn't find it, so I didn't. I couldn't find streaming, so I couldn't watch it again. But yeah, wasn't a fan. The first segment was okay with Benicio del Toro and Lisa Seydoux. I mean, Lisa Seydoux was naked in it, so. But and the second story didn't like at all really with was it Timothy Chalamet and Frances McDormand, and then the third story with Jeffrey Wright was okay, but not as good as the first story, and it did have a cool animated segment. That animated scene I kind of enjoyed, and it was probably my favorite part of the movie. Even better than seeing Lisa Seydoux naked, but my one of my all-time celebrity crushes, Saoirse Ronan, who was barely in the movie, unfortunately. Like, even Lea Seydoux had more screen time than her. But my favorite part was her singing that lullaby in French. That was really beautiful. But yeah, but yeah, just wasn't a fan of this movie. Maybe if I watch it again, maybe I'll learn to. I mean, I can appreciate it. I appreciate that Wes Anderson wanted to do an anthology film. That's cool, but I don't know. I'm not even a huge like fan of Wes Anderson's later work to begin with. I prefer his first 5 films, and I do like Moonrise Kingdom too. But like, I'm the guy that says that Grand Budapest Hotel and Fantastic Mr. Fox, while yes, they are good movies, I find them to be a little bit overrated. That's me. And The Royal of Tenenbaums, if you don't know, is my favorite Wes Anderson film. So yeah. But yeah, wasn't a fan of The French Dispatch, and that's my number 13. Okay, coming in at number 12 is Dune. Yeah, Dune Part 1, I guess you can call it, since there's a Part 2, which I think recently just came out, if I'm not mistaken. But, yeah, I'm sorry. I wasn't a fan of Dune. It was kind of boring to me, and just, yeah, I don't really remember much from it. And just, yeah, wasn't a fan. I'll watch the sequel, and I might watch the first again, but I'm mostly watching the sequel because Florence Pugh is in it. Because I love her. She's, one of my celebrity crushes. And also, like, maybe my favorite current actress, maybe? I mean, not of all time. I would say Cate Blanchett, who is still acting to this day, of course. But when it comes to, like, younger actresses, I think she's the one for me. She's great. Well, Saoirse Ronan, too. I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of leaning toward Florence Pugh, but anyways, but yeah, because of her, and also I think Anya Taylor-Joy has like a short role in it too, so I like her a lot. And we'll get to her later because there is a movie with her on this ranking. But yeah, Dune. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's overrated. I'm not a fan. I will say it is better than the David Lynch Dune, which sucks to say because I love David Lynch, but God, that was his worst movie. That was so bad. It wasn't bad. It was just not for me. So yeah, Dune Part 1 is my number 12. And I think there's going to be some people that are going to hate me for putting this over Dune. My number 11 is Don't Look Up. Yeah, the Adam McKay Apocalypse movie. I didn't like it either, really. Wasn't really that good, aside from a few performances I thought were pretty good, like Leonardo DiCaprio, of course, and even Jennifer Lawrence. I thought they were great, and a few others I thought were pretty good too, but other than that, yeah, I didn't really care for this movie. It was just kind of cringy and just, yeah, didn't like it. So yeah, but I don't know. I found it a little bit more entertaining than Dune. So yeah, but yeah, Don't Look Up is my number 11, and here's another one that people might get mad that I have this over Dune. My number 10 is a very bizarre film, because it's halfway good, but then it's halfway bad. Like, the stuff that's good, like, is actually surprisingly pretty damn good, but then the stuff that's bad about it sucks. So, my number 10 is Cruella. Yeah, Emma Stone. The Cruella backstory movie, I guess you can call it. I don't know, but Emma Stone as Cruella. So positives, she was good in it. She was very good, Emma Stone. A better performance than her, though, was actually, what's her name? Emma Thompson as the villain. I thought she was even better. She was actually the show stealer for me in that movie. But they were both really good in the film. The soundtrack was awesome. Cinematography, I think I remember being pretty cool. Costume designs and whatnot. And, there was, I thought the ending was interesting, but there's a twist in this movie that I absolutely hated. Like, I thought it was stupid, and they shouldn't have done it. Like, that was really stupid. If you've seen the movie, maybe you'll know what I'm talking about. But, and, you know, the fact that they made Cruella de Vil, like, this anti-hero, and in the what was it, 101 Dalmatians, she was a villain. It's just dumb. Yeah, it wasn't a great movie, but there's some good elements to it. Will I ever watch it again? I don't know. Probably not. But yeah. If they ever make a sequel, then maybe I will, because I think I've heard that there might be a sequel to it. Disney, just stop already. Just stop. You know they're not going to. But anyways, but yeah, my number 10, Cruella. Okay, coming at number 9, now this is an interesting one because this is not really considered as a film. It's more considered as a comedy special, but I consider it more as a film. It feels more like a film to me. That is Bo Burnham's Inside. Yeah, okay, so this one was really interesting. I thought it was pretty cool. Very well made by Bo Burnham himself. He made himself. He's the only person that was pretty much involved. I mean, maybe besides, of course, like producing, maybe, but he made this all by himself, pretty much, in like one like area, like this one room or something, and it's really interesting. I don't love it, but I admire the creativity and whatnot behind it, and it's pretty cool. There were some moments that I kind of cringed at, but you know, like this, I remember the sexting song was really bad, but I don't know, it was still kind of cool. It was a pretty cool movie. So, and I do consider it as a movie, even though he calls it a comedy special, just that he does by himself because it's during COVID, but it's a movie in my opinion. Eighth Grade is better. He made I love Eighth Grade. That's one of my all-time favorite films. So he already made a better film than that, but I thought this was still pretty cool. Like, I can appreciate it. I appreciate it more than I actually like it, but it's pretty cool though. So yeah, that's my number 9 is Bo Burnham's Inside. Coming at number 8 is, I believe, a Best Picture nominee. That is Drive My Car. I remember this being pretty decent. I actually have, this isn't the only foreign film on here. I have one ahead of this, but this I believe is a Japanese. I'm sorry. I can't remember exactly what it was, but one of those. and yeah, it was. I remember it being pretty good. There's very little that I remember about it, but of what I do remember, I remember it being pretty good. Just, I didn't love it. It was just not amazing to me, but it was decent. So yeah, that's my number 8, Drive My Car. Coming at number 7 is a movie I also just barely remember, but I think I had more fun with this than Drive My Car. That is Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk, and this was basically just like a comedy action movie. Pretty ridiculous, but I remember it being kind of fun. So yeah, I don't really have much to say because I barely remember anything about this movie, but I just remember it being pretty fun though. So yeah, Nobody is number 7. Coming in at number 6 is an animated film. Not the only one on here, but that is The Mitchells versus the Machines. Yeah, this one was pretty decent. I thought this was a decent animated film. The animation looks really unique, but really good. Danny McBride was in this movie, as well as Maya Rudolph. I thought they were great. And yeah, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool movie. It reminded me a bit like The Incredibles, except they weren't superheroes. They were just normal people, a normal family, but they still like save the day and stuff from this like a robot apocalypse, and it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Yeah, I haven't rewatched it, but I still enjoyed it. And that's my number 6, The Mitchells versus the Machines. But coming at number 5, we have another anime movie that I liked better, and that was a Pixar movie, Luca. And I think this movie might be divisive, but I liked Luca. I thought it was really cool. Like, I liked the premise, even though it reminded me of that Ron Howard movie, Splash, which I like better. But it was still cool, just about these kids who were like mer people, I guess you can call them, like kind of like mermaids, or no, they were like sea creatures, I think is what they were, but they were like human on land. That's why I compare it to Splash, because that was a what's her name? Daryl Hannah. Yeah, Daryl Hannah. That's how she was. She was like a human on land, and also like I think it was also the same as like if water splash on them, then they turn into what they are, you know? So that's why I compare it to Splash, but Splash is better. But I still enjoyed this movie. It was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool Pixar movie. Luca, that's my number 5. Coming at number 4 is an Edgar Wright film. As of right now, his most recent, that is Last Night in Soho. When I first saw this movie, I loved it. In fact, I think this was even my favorite of the year. But then I rewatched it with my cousin Cade. We did a Your Cousins Are Critics episode on it. He didn't like it at all, really. I on the second watch, I still enjoyed it, but I found some issues with it, particularly the story. Like, I thought the story wasn't. It had some issues, for sure. I didn't recognize it when I first saw it, but on second watch, yeah, it kind of, yeah, it wasn't great. But aside from that, the acting is phenomenal. Thomasin McKenzie gave an amazing performance in this film. Anya Taylor-Joy was great too. And yeah, I don't think Cade liked the cinematography very much, but I enjoyed it. I actually liked it. Yeah. I mean, it has a good premise, but there were just some flaws with it. So, yeah, and it was kind of similar to a movie I just recently watched. That was the final episode of Your Cousins Are Critics that me and Cade watched. That was Perfect Blue. There were some similarities to that movie. I thinking back on it, there was some. So, yeah, Last Night in Soho, that's my number 4. Coming at number 3 is another movie that I really like, but I also find flawed. That is Paul Thomas Anderson's most recent film, Licorice Pizza. I almost love this movie. This has almost everything I love. The only thing is the story. The story, which is barely even there, it feels weird. Like and especially like the pacing. I don't really like the second half of the film, or at least like the third act of the film. I'm not into. But I've seen this I think twice, but I almost love this movie because the performances are phenomenal. Elena Haim and what's the name? Cooper Hoffman. They're both great in this movie. They have great chemistry together. Even though, yes, there is that weird, what do you call it? Age gap between the characters, because Cooper Hoffman's character is 15 while Elena Haim is 25. So, and they do fall in love. So, yeah, but come on, let's just. I don't know. I mean, it's hard to look aside from that, but yeah, it was still good, and they still had great chemistry together. And like I thought the cinematography was great. The soundtrack was great. Also, another performance I absolutely loved was Bradley Cooper as John Peters. That was amazing. He was the show stealer in this movie. He was only like in 3 or 4 scenes, but every time he was on screen, he was amazing. He was so good. Okay, there is another thing I didn't like about this movie. There was like this running joke in the film that involved John Michael Higgins. Like, I don't know, he had like a had like an Asian wife, and he was like trying to speak like Japanese or something to her, or at least like he'd like do an accent to her, and it was cringy and kind of racist, and yeah, that didn't work. That was just weird. I don't know what PTA was thinking with that, but yeah. That and the age gap thing, but also, I can kind of put aside those. It's mostly just, I don't know, the story just, I don't know. The story in the third act just kind of just goes nowhere, and the ending kind of doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. Like, I don't know. Aside from all those things, I do like this movie. It's pretty cool. Tom Waits even has a cameo in it, so that's awesome. But yeah, it's almost a great film. Like, it almost is a great film, and I almost love it. It's just those things I mentioned just pushes it back. So yeah. It's definitely a movie I would love to watch again because it's pretty awesome, but it's just not a great film. Like, it almost is, but because of that stuff, it's not. But I would definitely watch it again. I kind of want to watch it again sometime soon, but yeah. Licorice Pizza, that's my number 3. Coming at number 2, we have the other foreign film that at one point actually was my number 1 of this year. But I actually tried to watch it again, and it's not the movie's fault. It was just my attention span wasn't working, and I just put it off for a couple days. I just didn't finish it. But anyways, my number 2 is The Worst Person in the World, which is a Norwegian film, and judging of the first watch and a little bit of the second watch that I didn't finish, like. The first watch, I thought it was really cool, really good, weird at moments too. Like, it's a very interesting film because it's kind of almost like your typical like rom-com just from another country, but then there's some interesting scenes in it that like makes it more like an art house film. And there's one scene I remember particularly where I think it might have been like a dream sequence where the lead character like takes out her tampon and throws it at a dude, and I'm like, what? Because it doesn't really match the tone with the rest of the film, but at the same time, I kind of love it for that, even though it's weird as fuck. But yeah, the lead actress is great. I don't remember her name, but she's fantastic and she's gorgeous too. I just want to say that, but yeah, and yeah, it's I really enjoy this film. It might even be my favorite foreign film. I don't watch a whole lot of foreign films. I know I need to. The reason why I don't is because I don't like to read subtitles in films. And especially with a movie that has nothing but subtitles, it's hard. I'm sorry. It's just hard. That's the only reason why. I definitely respect foreign films for sure. And there's definitely like some critically acclaimed that I need to watch, but yeah, that's honestly why when I watch anime films, I at least try to watch the dubbed versions. I won't watch dubbed for live action because it looks ridiculous, but with animated, I will watch it. And I like it a bit better. I'm sorry, those y'all Studio Ghibli lovers or just anime lovers in general that hates when people do that. I don't like subtitles, so there we go. But anyways, Worst Person in the World was a good movie. I enjoyed it very much. I will maybe one of these days revisit it but this time finish it. I just haven't done it yet. But anyways, thinking back, I like this movie better, even though I've only seen it once. But that was my number 2, The Worst Person in the World. However, my number 1 is a horror film, and that is The Black Phone. Yeah, just thinking back on it, I think I gave it like a 7 out of 10 whenever I first saw it. Now it's an 8 out of 10. Yeah, even my number 1 is just an 8 out of 10. It's not a 9, just because, yeah, I don't know. This wasn't a great year, to be honest. But But The Black Phone is a really cool horror film and has a surprisingly great horror movie villain performance by Ethan Hawke of all people. And I love Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke, I think, is a fantastic actor. He's one of my favorite actors. He's awesome. But I never thought that he could pull off a horror movie villain, even just a villain in general, really. But he did, and he was fantastic. He was so fucking good. The main kid was really good, as well as who played his sister. They were both really good in the film as well. And it has an interesting story too. Even though there's been some other movies that's been kind of similar. There's like some nods to like Silence of the Lambs and like Seven, and even a Sam Raimi movie that I find underrated called The Gift. There's some similarities with that movie as well. But I enjoyed it very much. Like, even though I've only seen it once, and I did give it a 7 when I first saw it, but thinking back on it, it was really, really a really cool experience, a really cool movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed The Black Phone, and that's my number one favorite movie of the year 2021. So yeah. Although you might say maybe it was a 2022 film, because I think it might have like been released like internationally or whatever, like everywhere, like in 2022, but I think it came out like a film festival or something in like late 2021. Letterboxd says it's 2021, so I'm counting it as 2021. That's why to me it's a 2021 film, and it's my favorite 2021 film. So there we go. All right, so there we go. That's my ranking for all the movies I've seen in 2021. So let me down in the comments. Let me know. Give me your if you have a ranking. Give me your ranking of all the movies you've seen of 2021. If not, just do your favorite and least favorite movies of the year 2021. All right. So please like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the bell, and I'll see you guys later. All right. Peace.